Games and VR headsets give us an idea of how fast cars can be, but there's nothing like the real thing to give you major whiplash. Throughout history, cars have only gotten faster and more powerful. It's the ultimate rush for an inventor, and the ultimate play toy for the ultra-rich. So, in honor of our love for pure speed, here are 10 of the fastest production cars ever. Starting with the gorgeous 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL at number 10. 163 miles an hour might be slow compared to 2022 standards, but back in the 1950s, it was quite unheard of. The car's got pedigree in the racing world, and it's based on Mercedes' 1952 version of the 300 SL. That version wasn't nearly as good looking and finished second in the endurance race known as Mille Miglia, but Mercedes knew that it could do better, so the 1955 300 SL was born with a tubular space frame and aluminum doors, hood, and trunk lid. It shaved off a bunch of weight, but it was the aerodynamics of the car that made all the difference. They reduced drag significantly, making it a slippery rocket that tore down the racetrack at 163 miles an hour, making it the fastest production car of its time. Next is the 1987 Ferrari F40 at number 9. The world might know the F50 is one of the more iconic Ferrari sports cars, but gearheads put the F40 slightly higher than its older brother. While the 1955 300 SL hit high top speeds in the 160 mile an hour region, the F40 was the first road car that hit 202.6 miles an hour. Now we know what you're thinking. Plenty of cars have done 200 before, including the Plymouth Superbird and Dodge Daytona. But here's the thing, they're race cars, built solely for the track. The F40 was built for the open roads. It's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive that was built to honor Ferrari's 40th anniversary, and it was also the final car designed and manufactured under Enzo Ferrari's supervision. And because Enzo focused on speed more than anything, he made sure that the F40 had more horsepower and weighed less than the Porsche 959. Coming in at just under 3,000 pounds, there's no wonder it hit 200 miles an hour easily. It's one of the most beautiful cars we've ever seen, blending excellence, pedigree, and power all in a stunning package. At number 8, it's the 1992 Jaguar XJ220. We know, the XJ220 was a commercial failure, but you've got to realize that both the 220 and the Bugatti EB110 hit the market when a recession hit, and people were more worried about more important things, like food and bills. Still, sad history aside, the XJ220 made a name for itself between 1992 and 1993 for being the fastest production car in the world, hitting 217.1 miles an hour. The Guinness Book of World Records even put its fastest run in the 1994 through 1999 editions of their books. Even if it sold poorly, there's no denying that the XJ220 made speed look like child's play. Now for the 2022 Lamborghini Countach at number 7. The Countach is arguably one of the most iconic supercars in automotive history. In production from 1974 to 1990, it became a pop culture icon of the 80s, symbolizing grandeur in every way possible. It's something Tony Montana and James Crockett would own as they cruised down Miami streets, but that Countach was for a different generation. The 2022 Countach, however, is an entirely new beast. The 2022 Countach, however, is an entirely new beast, and as you'd expect, it's a limited edition production car inspired by the OG. We'll admit that it's a rebuilt Aventador with the heart of a Scion, but there's no denying that Lamborghini made it look just like the iconic Countach from the 80s. While it doesn't have the pop-up headlights and the massive rear wing, it's still got the trademark hexagonal wheel arches and scissor doors. It's also got an electric motor in it, making it a hybrid that goes from 0 to 60 in a shocking 2.8 seconds, and will reach a top speed of 221 miles an hour. For context, it's just as fast as the Lamborghini Veneno, while being undeniably sexier. But if you're going to your bank to make a wire transfer to Lamborghini's offices, then here's a downer for you. All 112 models have already been sold. Up next is the groundbreaking McLaren F1 at number 6. There's not much we can say about the iconic F1, other than that it's one of the finest driving machines a person can own, and plenty of famous personalities own one, including Ralph Lauren, Lewis Hamilton, and even the Sultan of Brunei. The F1's a masterpiece, even by today's standards. In fact, McLaren actually used 16 grams of gold foil under the engine cover, and it's not for aesthetic purposes. The gold foil helps deflect heat from the 6.1-liter V12 Beast under the hood, and that might be one of the 100 reasons why it easily hit 240.1 miles an hour, breaking the Jaguar XJ220 as the fastest production car of its time. Now in 2022, the McLaren F1 is still one of the fastest naturally aspirated cars in the world, despite being designed and produced 30 years ago. So there's no wonder that most enthusiasts and gearheads consider it the most excellent sports car of all time. Coming in at number 5 is the SSC Ultimate Aero TT. Back in the early days of supercars, the term supercar was used mostly for European sports cars, but Gerard Shelby, an American gearhead, wanted to build a true American sports car that could compete with the best Europe had to offer. So that's where SSC North America was born, and 9 difficult years later, the company produced the SSC Ultimate Aero. If you're wondering if Gerard is related to Carroll Shelby, then no, he's not. But he had similar dreams and was able to create a monster supercar that achieved 258 miles an hour, beating the 2005 Bugatti Veyron's record by 5 miles an hour. Of course, the twin-turbo 6.3-liter V8 helped produce the 1,183 horsepower necessary to tear up the asphalt, even though the car might not look as gorgeous as a Lamborghini or Ferrari. At number 4 is the 2010 Bugatti Veyron Supersport. Gerard Shelby's triumph over the Veyron didn't last long once the Supersport came around. Bugatti had only one purpose when building it: be the fastest production car ever made. That kind of motivation helps unite a company and can create unbelievable things. And thus, the Veyron Supersport, a bold design that makes the supercar look like a thick version of the original Veyron, but with a slumbering monster under the hood. It had the trademark W16 quad-turbo engine that produced a mind-numbing 1,200 horsepower. For context, a Honda Civic has about 158 horsepower. 1,200 horses helped the Supersport achieve 267.8 miles an hour, embarrassing the Ultimate Aero TT and cementing it as the fastest production car ever made. For a while anyway. Heading into the top 3, it's the 2014 Hennessy Venom GT. Just like SSC North America, another US automotive engineering company called Hennessy wanted to create the ultimate street-legal supercar. So, the Venom GT was born, which is honestly one of the quickest cars we've ever seen. It's got a carbon fiber body and wheels, making it incredibly light and helping acceleration times. And of course, there's the 7-liter twin-turbo V8 that produces 1,244 horsepower, which is 44 more horses than the Supersport, and speeds up the car from 0 to 60 in about 2.8 seconds. And the official top speed, 270.49 miles an hour, easily surpassing the Supersport as the fastest production car in the world. For a car that's inspired by the Lotus Elise and the Exige, the Venom GT is one of the fastest, most dangerous supercars you could own today. In second place, we have the 2022 SSC Tuatara. What goes 295 miles an hour and was designed and built by SSC North America? The SSC Tuatara. SSC North America isn't a big company, but it's got giant dreams. After the Ultimate Aero TT's loss to the Supersport, Gerard Shelby and his engineers worked to produce another record breaker. For the Tuatara, SSC struck a partnership with Nelson Racing Engines and created a 5.9-liter twin-turbo V8 that produces, wait for it, 1,750 horsepower. Looks like Gerard went by the old adage of more horses, more speed. But it's not just power that helps the Tuatara achieve its unbelievable speed. It's got a lower drag coefficient than its competitors and a sleek, aerodynamically stable design. And all of this means one thing: ultimate speed, accelerating to 295 miles an hour on the 14th of May of this year. For a car that'll give you air conditioning and power windows as an add-on, a 295 mile an hour speed record isn't too shabby either. Finally at number 1, it's the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus. The Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus is a modified version of the original, and its reason for existence was, of course, to beat the Tuatara. The race to reach speeds exceeding Reaching 300 miles an hour has been a long and grueling one, but Bugatti achieved it nonetheless. Thanks to a small bump in horsepower from the quad-turbo W16 and a longer tail, it trashed the Koenigsegg Agera's speed record by nearly 30 miles an hour. The Chiron Supersport 300 Plus is currently the fastest production car ever, but the Hennessy F5 might be hot on its tail, and we could see it surpass the Chiron's record in the near future. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for watching. So which car from this list would you want in your driveway? Tell us down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos in the future. See you in the next one.